Hello, let's get started. So I usually go live on Instagram as well, but I started joining like black owned social media pages. So we're gonna be live on melanatedpeople.com. Something going on that's preventing me from doing what I want to do. I'm gonna try to make this swift. I see myself getting better with like the time and stuff like that. So you guys aren't sitting with me for like a whole 2 hours and stuff. Also, because I'm hungry. I'm on a journey of veganism, and it's hard, especially where I live at, because there's nothing here that caters to the vegan community. Veganism is way harder than being vegetarian because there's a lot of sides that I'll be like, all right, I'll eat, like macaroni and cheese, but it has cheese in it, so, or eggs or and stuff, and it's just really difficult. So I don't foresee myself being vegan very much longer. Vegetarian, yes, and even then, I might eat some fish because I've been getting really hype every time I walk past a plate of salmon or tuna or something, and I get sad once I remind myself I'm being fucking vegan. And I'm tired of being angry. I'm angry. Vegan is just very, very extreme. And this is why I quit the first time. But before, I was able to be vegan for like, I was vegan for like 3, 4 years. I don't know how the fuck I did it. Like, oh my God. I was also in a better area. I was in the city. I was in Elizabeth. So Whole Foods was there, Trader Joe's was there. All that stuff is there because it's being gentrified. This is like a small urban area. It's in its early stages of gentrification, so they don't care about what we eat yet. And that's my TED talk for the day. How much I hate it here. I don't know what's wrong with me now. So I'm going to enjoy my bread while I get us ready for this planetary forecast. I'm going to try to get through this quick so I can go eat. I got a lot of stuff to do today. Congratulations to everybody who won an award earlier today that was nominated for a Cosmic Nobody's Award for our award ceremony. If you know anybody that you would like to nominate for an award, please go on, slide on over to letsnobodiescollection.com and vote for your favorite artist, your philanthropist, community organizer, and so forth and so on. We have a bunch of different categories over there for you to go on and vote, and just show people that you see what they do and you appreciate what they do and the energy they put forth. And if you have been nominated and you received a message from myself, just go on to that document link or whatever, fill it out, so I can get you situated. Deadlines to respond to the nomination or to fill out a nomination altogether are April 20th. Are on April 20th. So I don't know how to do this. Please don't do anything that's going to irritate my spirit.
Okay. You have to put. There's line under the little things that you can like put these other lines into.
Okay. It's not working for me though because they're not sitting.
It's sliding because it's kind of smooth.
Alright, so let's get started. We're going to start off with the sun. So your sun is your ego, your outer self, your masculine energy, right? How you go outward, your extrovertedness, what it's rooted in, how you deal with your own masculinity energy and the masculine energy of others. And we started off the day at 12 a.m. at 17 degrees for altitude in Capricorn in the fifth house, and we'll be ending the day at at 11:59 p.m. At 18 degrees, 5 altitude in Capricorn in the fifth house. The sunrise is at 8:21 a.m. The sun will be setting at 5:55 p.m. So we gotta have about 2 hours left. So again, the sun is all about your ego, your outward self, your masculine energy, how you interact with masculine energy of others around you. And Capricorn is that cardinal energy, right? That energy about ambition, taking an initiative, creating structure. Also, it's all about boundaries, creating boundaries and restrictions for yourself. And if you have an overabundance of these things, you may feel really restricted. You may feel like everything is just happening to you and you're not in control. But if you have a healthy balance within this area, you're very much in control of your situation. You have healthy boundaries, you have healthy restrictions. You know how to tell yourself no and tell yourself not to indulge in things instead of indulging it in any way and then having a nasty attitude about it as a shield to protect you from other people telling you you shouldn't be doing that. So, and that's my TED talk for that in that area. You make your parallels accordingly. So that's what the sun is calling us to do. And that fifth house energy of Leo, energy of house creativity and romance and children and confidence and all that.
Thank you, Mom.
King of the jungle type energy and being center of the universe. So this is going to be on the forefront of your mind, like recreating different structures for yourself and infrastructures and recreating the boundaries you have set for yourself and so on and so forth. So that's exciting. The moon is all about our inner selves, our feminine energy, how we interact with feminine energy and other people, how we interact with our own feminine energy, and so on and so forth. So we start the day off at 12 a.m. at 27 degrees 7 altitude in Libra in the third house, and we're ending off the day at 11 degrees 19 altitude in Scorpio in the third house. So the moon is moving, y'all. We done been in Libra energy for about 24 hours or so. So now we're moving on into the Scorpio energy. That makes sense. Cause I woke up this morning, I was horny as hell. I ain't gonna hold you, like to the point where I got an attitude. Like the vegan stuff got me having an attitude right now. I'm at my end. I haven't been having sex, so I have an attitude right now. This Scorpio moon, and I'm not smoking right now either. So I'm just not happy. I'm just not happy. I have an attitude, and hopefully I go get some soup, and the warmth of the soup will just sit in my belly, and then we can go get the salad afterwards and do whatever we got to do. So right now I got a whole, and that's also that Scorpio energy, right? That stinger, right? We're coming from Miles, that feminine energy, your intuitive energy, your emotions and stuff. We're coming from that people pleasing, balance, and fairness energy of Libra, right? And then we're moving into that Scorpio energy of like specified. Like Libra energy is like kind of be fair and be balanced to all, or it's like generalized statements. Whereas Scorpio energy is a lot more specific because now passion is coming into play, right? We deal with that passionate energy of Scorpio, that sensual energy, also the energy of power, right? And we see that because of the things that happened in DC yesterday. Now we see a power shift. There has been a shift in power, right? A transformation in power is going into we have a new president. I don't really care about the whole thing. I really just don't want nothing to do with it, honestly. Like I don't want to watch it. I don't want to be around it. It is what it is. But the moon in Scorpio is calling us to go inward about our passions, about our transformations, things we want to see death and rebirth in. Also, it's causing us to go inward and tap into that nurturing feminine energy of power and transformation and things like that. Some of us are transforming into a more nurturing individual, or we're transferring into nurturing spaces, or hopefully this country is transforming into a fucking nurturing space. We don't know. Anyway, anyway, this is directed in the third house of one-on-one relationships and bonds and intimate communications, or how you want to be seen in those intimate relationships. All right, I share. Excuse me. Ouch. That's what I get. Mercury started off the day at 27 degrees 48 altitude in Capricorn in the sixth house, and we'll be ending the day off at 29 degrees 27 altitude in Capricorn in the sixth house. So we have Mercury and the Sun near each other. Mercury kind of passed the Sun already. We dealt with that yesterday. Mercury passing the Sun yesterday, the day before or so. Also, Capricorn, again, we already went over. Capricorn is that energy of taking initiative, of being ambitious, that cardinal energy. It's also that energy of in addition to leadership, but manifestation, bringing things into fruition, right? With that earth energy. Um, and so you have been communicating about things you've been trying to manifest, right? We're actually moving in towards it and taking that initiative, tapping into that cardinal energy that Capricorn calls us to do. So the things that we have been communicating in the past, we're now bringing to manifestation, and we're applying it to the sixth house, which is that Virgo energy house, our health and wellness and our daily routine. So we're definitely applying this into how we carry ourselves on a day-to-day basis, Ashe. Moving on to Venus. Venus, we started off at 28 degrees, 8 altitude in Sagittarius in the fifth house, and we'll be ending the day off at 29 degrees, 23 altitude in Sagittarius in the fifth house. Now, Venus is all about your not emotions. Venus is about how you obtain your wealth and your valuables and what you consider wealth and valuables. Also how you obtain things that you seek pleasure and seek desire, and how you go about it and how you obtain it and how you maintain it. And so all of those things are sitting in that fired up Sagittarius energy. So you feel yourself being adventurous in your romantic sense. Yes, you feel yourself being adventurous in how you obtain your values and your wealth and your material things of that Venus energy. You're also being more optimistic and more expanded about how you view your love relationships, right? A lot of us have rooted ourselves in love and relationships, and we're definitely expanding that. And this is in the fifth house, which is that Leo sun energy. So you'll feel this coming into the forefront. Again, Leo energy is like that egotistical energy as well. So you feel like a double fire engulfed, that Venus energy is engulfed in. So definitely a lot of ambition, definitely a lot of energy, aggression, but there can also be some impatience. So be mindful when you're being impatient with yourself, when you're being impatient with your partner, when you're being impatient with the manifestation progress, because Sagittarius energy as well as Leo energy does bring that fire energy of impatience, of being a little too aggressive in how you obtain and maintain those things. So when you find yourself, stalking your partner and saying, "Hey, what you doing while I'm sitting outside your window?" You may have tapped too far into that Venus and Sagittarius energy. Okay, just be careful with that. Um, so Mars, we started off the day at 0 degrees, 6 altitude in Taurus in the ninth house, and we'll be ending the day off at 0 degrees, 34 altitude in Taurus in the ninth house. So Mars deals with our aggression, right? It deals with what motivates us, what gets us going, and what gets us started. It also deals with that warrior-like energy. Now we dealt with earlier on, what was it, the day before yesterday? We had Mars sitting in Aries for a bit, right? So we just transitioned over into the Taurus energy of materialism. Again, now we're manifesting. Now we're bringing things into fruition into that physical sense, because we know that Taurus energy is earth energy, right? All about that pinnacles and creating things, right? So we have tapped in again that Aries energy, everything that you were feeling aggressive about, feeling motivated about, that was inducing that warrior like energy into you and things like that. That was you feeling Mars in your Aries. And so now that we moved into towards all those things you were fired up about, having, motivated, ambitious, and aggressive conversation and interactions about, now it's manifesting. And it's manifesting into some material things, some things that we find wealth and also some things that we find pleasure and our self-esteem in, right? Because that's what Taurus causes us to do, to seek pleasure and and boost our self-esteem in the things that we obtain and manifest. And that's sitting up in that ninth house energy of Sagittarius energy. Again, Mars and Venus sitting up under that fire. Um, and also coming back to our feminine versus masculine energies, I would like to keep coming back to that and get more comfortable with reiterating that with you guys as well, because that's good information. But Mars and Venus, Mars is the masculine energy, well, Venus is the feminine energy. So Mars is the yang and Venus is the yin, and this is rooted in desire. So when it comes to your pleasure seeking senses, or when it comes to your self esteem and things like that, Mars is how you do it on an extroverted, on a masculine sense, and Venus is how you go about it on an inward and inwardly sense. And yeah, right now they're both rooted in fire, so you're definitely going to feel a lot of aggression, being very ambitious. Just be mindful of the impatience. Be patient with yourself. Be present. So Jupiter, we have still sitting up in that Aquarius energy in the sixth house, and we'll be doing that for the rest of the year. But we'll just be changing up our degrees and our altitudes, right? And with that, we'll be changing our relations with other planets, right? Certain planets passing by become in conjunction and sextile and things like that. And when those different happenings occur, we will be going over them. So stay tuned in that too as well. But Jupiter, we started off the day at 4 degrees, 12 altitude in Aquarius in the sixth house. And we'll be ending the day off at 4 degrees, 25 altitude in Aquarius in the sixth house. So Jupiter is all about our love and our traditions and our tolerance and generosity and luck and wisdom, right? It's like the good cop energy, that blue energy, that soft blue energy of justice. And it's sitting in that rebellious social energy of Aquarius right now, right? So you feel yourself becoming rebellious. And we're watching it on television, people becoming rebellious and people becoming rebellious in response to that rebellion, right? So we see a ripple effect of rebellion going on, people questioning things, people, coming into social groups to question and have these kind of discussions that need to be had in regards to our law and order and our traditions and things we consider as wisdom and who we considered as wise. Because obviously it is not what we thought it to be, right? And it's not just the government, it's also the media. Pay attention to the media. Pay attention to the narrative and the kind of emotions they're trying to invoke in you. If you can change the channel between 3 or 4 different channels, and you know for a fact that these 3, 4 channels are in are kind of like rivals of one another, and they're both trying to feed you the same emotional state or the same emotional trance, be wary. We're going to get into Pisces Neptune in a minute, but like be wary because Neptune and Pisces energy. They want to invoke certain trances in you to get you to feel certain things. This beautiful thing happened at the White House. So how do you feel? My personal interpretation, I feel like it was beautiful. I feel like that was Pluto in Capricorn telling us that transformation is here. Let's get to it. And I felt like that was Uranus and Taurus also shaking things up for us. I thought it was a beautiful thing that happened. Now, if you watch the news, what are they doing? They're turning it into a race thing. Why? Because indigenous individuals are the most connected to the universe, to ourselves, to Earth. Whether we are aware of it or unaware, we're still the most connected because of certain things that just lie within our DNA, the concentration of carbon, the concentration of melanin, and so on and so forth. With that being said, if I can get the most connected individual to stay in a heightened emotional trance of anger, aggression, fear, jealousy, and all those other emotions, then I can get things popping. Listen, y'all silly if y'all think that magic only occurs through love and sex. No, it also occurs through anger and aggression. So if I can keep the most soulful individuals on this planet at a heightened emotional trance of aggression and fear and jealousy and all these things, I can make some crazy shit pop. Be mindful of the monster you're feeding. I like to go back to Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. The monsters come and they scare the kids, and while you're screaming, that energy, that frequency is going into a battery, right? Now, if you tap into in real life, we actually can use our frequencies to create electric current. We can use our frequencies to power things, to power things, and to power one another. Yes, Ashe. So with that being said, you think you speaking on fear and you feeling fear and you giving off that frequency and stuff is not feeding something, is not powering up a battery, and people are not intentionally keeping you in that state to power that battery, please please align yourself because that's exactly what's happening. If I want you to keep being mad at white people and I want this certain level of division to keep going on, this racial division, I'm going to make everything about white privilege. Look at these white people standing on the steps. Yes, I saw an overabundance of white privilege. However, I saw white privilege being used in alignment. Pluto calls for Capricorn to be destroyed. Pluto calls for that Capricorn energy to feel destruction for transformation and rebirth and resurrection and all that beautiful things, all the beautiful things that Pluto causes us to do. So if you see it, just acknowledge it for what it is. Please do not fall victim to what the media and the news wants to invoke within you because they want to keep you at a heightened state. They want to do that. So be aware. Be aware and be aware of the energy that you are invoking in others when you regurgitate that information. When you click that share button, when you repost it, or when you make a video or a comment, you are expanding that aggressive energy. You are giving more life and power to that aggressive energy. Please be mindful and be responsible with what you're doing on your podium. Are you creating peace, or are you being a microphone for chaos? Be responsible. Be responsible. So that's what Saturn in Aquarius is bringing forth. Just us being rebellious and coming together on a social level and being rebellious. And then we're touching that sixth house energy, that Virgo energy of daily routines. Now, Saturn, we as well, is also in Aquarius in the sixth house. We start off at 2 degrees 19 altitude. We'll be ending the day at 2 degrees 27 altitude. So, if you notice, Jupiter and Saturn are starting to slowly become further and further apart. Now we're officially about 2 degrees apart. And so they're both sitting in Aquarius in the sixth house. So the intentions are still the same. We still have these two very large planets with very large electromagnetic energies causing us to look at how we've been looking at authority, how we've been building infrastructure, how we've been setting boundaries and restrictions for ourselves and each other. I got into a really good talk with you guys Monday, talking about you guys tapping into the God in you and not allowing others who have tapped into the God in them use the God in them to oppress the God in you. As we all have the same God in us. So you can, but the universe would rather you did not sit and be and act like you can't acknowledge what you are in control of, because there's these people that know how to put on a front and act like whatever God is in them, it trumps over your God every time. That's what they choose to do with the God in them. Now, what are you choosing to do with the God in you? Are you choosing to be submissive and inferior to the God in them? Or are you saying, no, we equal? So if you can create that kind of reality and you can have that kind of power, so the fuck can I. And this is what I'm going to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. That's what Jupiter and Saturn is calling us to do. Just break that up. We're breaking the law. We're breaking the tolerance and the authority and that infrastructure for transformation. I am a God of heaven and human experience. Ashe, yes, we are gods having human experiences. Um, our human experiences are mental manifestations of God. So if you get into the chicken and egg theory, there is no beginning or end of that. So you have to know, like, yeah, I'm tapping into the God in me. Peace. Thank you for tuning in. We're doing a daily planetary forecast today. So yeah, you're definitely tapping into the God in you. Yeah, Ashe. Neptune, we started off, no, going back, bring it back. Uranus, we started off the day at 6 degrees, 44 altitude and retrograde in Taurus in the ninth house, and we'll be ending at 6 degrees, 44 altitude and retrograde in Taurus in the ninth house. So again, Uranus is still not moving too much. We'll be in Taurus in the ninth house until 2024. So we'll be here for a bit. We'll be here to the end of the last election, the next election. And then, we have been here since the election of Obama, since 2008. Uranus has been in Taurus in the ninth house. And ironically, it actually entered on the night of inauguration. I believe that was January 20th, 2008. That's when Uranus entered Taurus. So that's Uranus is that energy of progressiveness, that energy that pushes you until you have to face the truth, until you can't deny what's happening anymore. You just can't. You're deliberately denying it at this point, and that's the kind of energy that Uranus brings to us. And Taurus is that energy of how we seek those material things, right? How we're manifesting things, the things we seek pleasure in, the things that we find ourselves attracted to, the things that once we obtain them, it boosts our self-esteem, yeah? So we have Uranus saying, hey, you got to shake that shit up. You got to see truth in what it is that you're doing. And a lot of us are. Since 2008, there has been a crazy amount of documentaries put in the forefront of us on how we've been indulging in our clothing, that fast fashion, especially Fashion Nova. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but those clothes are made out of oil. That's oil. So you're contributing to all the ailments that come from oil drilling and all that when you indulge in that fast fashion clothing. That is oil-based clothing. You when they had all the food documentaries, you found yourself coming into a point of progressiveness, tapping into that Uranus energy and facing the truth about how you've been eating, what you've been eating, the packages and stuff that your food has been coming in, and all of those things. So you have no choice but to change the way you've been doing it. Otherwise, you're accepting the fact that you haven't been doing it right. You're not in alignment, right? It's definitely stop it. It's definitely time to get in alignment. He always messing with me, and this is directed in the ninth house. The ninth house. Oh yeah, we got Mars in the ninth house too. So we have that aggressive energy of Mars and Uranus sitting in the same energy together. They're about 6 degrees apart, so they're within that 30-degree energy. So yeah, you have that aggressive energy, that motivation, that gets you going energy, sitting up with that Uranus energy of progressiveness. So, oh wow, yeah, okay. You guys make that parallel if you see fit. But last night when all that stuff was happening with DC was that yeah, yesterday when all that stuff was happening in DC, hello my love, welcome to the planetary forecast. Mars was moving from Aries to Taurus and moving in on Uranus that's sitting in Taurus, that energy of progressiveness. And we know that Uranus is a larger planet than Mars. So while Mars does have a strong energy, Uranus, of course, electromagnetic energy is way larger. But that progressiveness is still very aggressive, just as Mars is still the same. So wow, that's that's beautiful. And they're both sitting in that fired up Sagittarius energy, that energy of optimism, that energy of expanding yourself, and foreign travel, foreign philosophies, adopting new philosophies and new perspectives in this area of our lives. And just wow, how we're obtaining materialism, how we're finding, our personal selves and our personal pleasures and stuff. We do see that happening. Our consumerism. If you guys in 2008, from 2008 to 2012, especially when we had Michelle Obama in office, mind you, Uranus was in Taurus during this time. When Michelle Obama was in office, she was doing all the things about trying to make the size of the drinks smaller and telling us, and then we learned about the water in Flint, and then we started learning about the water in all the other states, and especially the state of New Jersey is fucking ridiculous. Like, I'm so disgusted with Governor Murphy. Like, he really only gives a fuck about like businesses and corporations and money. Like, are we really going to turn a blind eye to the fact that about 8 to 9 years ago, a whole article came out about how urban neighborhoods in New Jersey have the worst fucking water? Like, are we going to do that? And the majority of those spaces and places were in public school systems with the water fountains. Are we really going to do that? And then last year, when school started, Governor Murphy cut like thousands of dollars from these areas that had the dirty water to begin with. He cut thousands of dollars from those school districts and gave those thousands of dollars. Did you guys know that Cherry? I know not everybody in here not from Jersey. Cherry Hill is right next to fucking Camden. Cherry Hill gets 7 figures a year. How?
Mom,
Anyway, that was a crazy side spiral. I got triggered. But yes, Mars and Uranus is definitely causing us to see that progressiveness and pushing us to that. We've seen the thing with the water. We're starting to have more and more documentaries telling us about how farming, how animal farming is eating up, is drinking up, soaking up all of our water. We're indulging too much in animal farming. We need to cut back on how many animals we eat a day. And it's not even just how much we're eating and consuming, right? It's the corporation. A lot of, it's easy to blame the little man and not look at the corporation that's, every animal they kill, they don't cook. You know what I'm saying? They'll have a whole bunch of animals that they're doing all this stuff with and farming, and some of it end up not being good, or some of those burgers end up going in the garbage. We throw away like tons and tons of food a day. So a lot of that shit that we've been farming and we're getting rid of all that water and all that stuff, we're throwing in the garbage anyway. It ends up being in the garbage at the end of the day at the McDonald's and Burger King shift and all that stuff anyway. Like, we're not even eating most of the stuff that, whatever. I did get into Iris. I do have Iris, and we're getting to that last. Yeah. But yeah, that's what Uranus is causing us to do. It's going to get to the point where you can't do nothing else. You have to make a change. And I'm hoping that as the years go on, especially because Uranus is in Taurus till 2024, and you hear all these scientists and all these, people, and granted, I don't really fuck with like mainstream media, whether it be alternative news or direct news. I don't really get into either one of them because everybody has an agenda and everybody's hired by somebody who has an agenda. Otherwise, you wouldn't end up on those channels. So, like, with that being said, it's just like, still at the same token, you have these scientists and things like that coming out to the forefront saying, hey, we only have this amount of time to reverse what we're doing. Now, look at Uranus and Taurus. Uranus and Taurus is telling you you have until 2024 to reverse how you're doing things, or you're not going to have a choice for real, for real. You might start having to breathe out of containers and doing all this extra stuff because as a community, we're not making the change that needs to be had. A drastic change needs to be had, but it's happening whether you like it or not. People are storming the White House. COVID is happening. Quarantine is happening. People rebelling against these things is happening. Cops shooting people is happening. People shooting back at cops is happening. So whether you want to come out of your ostrich hole and face the progressiveness and change that needs to be had or not, the universe is going to give it to you. So you can either be like water and go with the flow, or you can experience the earthquake that the universe is going to give to you. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag. So moving on to Neptune, we touched Neptune a little bit before prior conversation, but like Neptune is in Pisces right now in the seventh house. Neptune will start the day off at 18 degrees 35 altitude and will be ending the day at 18 degrees 37 altitude. So we don't really move too much. Neptune will be in Pisces for quite some time. We're only in mid zodiac energy. Um, well, Neptune is all about your subconscious, the things that you see past the five senses and things of that nature. It's all about the mystic realm. And Pisces is also, again, a mirror to that mystic realm. It's all about anything beyond the five senses, your intuition and spirit and things of that nature. And it's rooted in that seventh house right now, which is the energy of Libra, which is that people pleasing. Also can be a little bit gullible due to the people pleasing, as well as balance and fairness and going above and beyond to be balanced and fair. So with that being said, be mindful. A lot of us are taking pieces and bits of mystic energy and spiritual energy, and sometimes the intentions are good, but the actions can be more harmful than, hey, first of all, get off my speaker. Second of all, turn down that phone or remove yourself from my room. Thank you. It's not better. Yeah, so Neptune in Pisces is causing us to be mindful of those people that are coming and claiming to speak to our spirit. You'll even see the media. You'll see large corporations. Listen, you got to understand, people are watching black people. Everybody is watching black people. We are constantly being watched. We are constantly, constantly, constantly being watched for many different motives. For many different motives, but I need you to understand that we're constantly being watched. So if you walk into your spirit and you become spiritual and understand that black people, indigenous folks, we are doing this by the thousands a day. We are all coming back to ourselves because that's what the planets call us to do. We are aligning ourselves. We are all becoming back to spiritual beings. With that being said, there are people that are watching us and they're saying, hey, we're not making any more money in religious things. We're not getting any more votes with that religious vernacular. We're not, getting any attention talking about religion and God and Jesus anymore. So you're going to have individuals that come in and say, hey, vote for me because I got crystals on and I use the word universe and I do all these things. You're going to have corporations say, oh, look at our crystals over here. They're not crystals. Stop going to Walmart thinking you're buying rose quartz pieces. You are not. Stop going to West Coast, whatever, and thinking you're buying stones. If you need to go on a hike and go through the mountains and get your own damn stones, then take that journey to go get your stones. If you need to start a garden in your backyard to make sure that you have the alkaline, the true self of the plant that you're supposed to eat, then that's what you need to do because there's going to be businesses. Especially these food companies, you have Dunkin' Donuts saying, "Oh, y'all want to be vegan? Fine, we got the Beyond Meat burger." I don't want a fucking Beyond Meat burger. I want a vegetable burger. I want to see the carrots and the corn and the beans in my damn burger. I don't want it to look like meat. I don't need it to look like meat. You have Burger King doing the same thing with the Beyond Meat sandwich. Like, it's just all of this is going on, and all of it is because you are being watched. They see you and they say, "Oh, this is how I can market to you because I see where you are." And so, with that being said, it's a lot of Trojan
Hello?
horses going on, and they're trying to no hang up. It's a lot of Trojan horses going on, and they see that black people are coming into their true selves and their ancestry. Another one. Okay, y'all want to get into with y'all ancestry? Y'all want to know about your history? All right, here goes some kits. Give us your DNA. Why was that so easy to do? I don't know about y'all, but I didn't do it. Why didn't I do it? Because I listened to y'all. I was watching y'all just like the corporations was watching y'all. And I was listening to the stuff y'all was saying and y'all was hype over. All they did was give you a sheet of paper of what colonies, like it was colonies. It's the same shit. How can you get hype off of reading colonies off of a paper? We wasn't called Ghana and Mozambique. We wasn't called all these names. This is colonization on a piece of paper. They just showing more slave owners, the French and the British colonies and the Asian. That's all they did. The Portuguese colonies, Spain and all. That's all they did. That's all they did. That was no different than me living in Africa right now and doing and giving the African government my DNA to find out that my family came from New Jersey. That's no what? Why I be impressed by that? That's New Jersey is still a fucking colony. That's no his that's not far back enough for me. That doesn't attune me with the God in me. That doesn't mean anything to me. For all that, I could have just had talks with my grandmom and find out who her grandmom was and who her grandmom was and who her like I could have did that instead. But y'all gave y'all DNA away. Why? Because companies was watching y'all and said, "Oh, they yearn for roots. I got an idea. Let's just write down our colonies that we made over in this country, write them down on a piece of paper and give it to them. And they'll feel like they're from somewhere." That's what happened to y'all. And y'all spent hundreds of dollars on that. Moving on. That's my TED talk for that shit. Be mindful. A lot of people are watching y'all and they're gonna try to make money off of your spirituality. They're gonna try to use your spirituality to get what they want across. Again, tap into the God in you and the world and the new world order you want to create with the God in you. And stop feeling like you have to be submissive to the God and other things and beings. Ashe. Hamburger. Yeah, a hamburger. Like, why would I want to eat a vegetable burger that looks like a real burger? That makes no sense. You put mad effort into making my vegetables look like meat. I don't need you to do that. And nobody asked for that. Except for the weirdos in the back that still are not in alignment. And it's okay because the universe gonna do away with you anyway. Uranus is gonna call for it. You're gonna get sick as hell. You're gonna get sick to the point where it's like either you're at an irreversible level of sickness or you're at a reversible level of sickness and it's time to change your life. And that's what happens to a lot of us, right? Near death experiences and all of a sudden, oh, I gotta eat right. Or you watch that one movie or you watch somebody else get sick or somebody else die. Yeah, that's what we do, right? Pluto. Pluto, we start off the day at 24 degrees, 23 altitude in Capricorn in the fifth house, and we'll be ending the day at 24 degrees, 5 altitude, 25 altitude in Capricorn in the fifth house. Excuse me. So Pluto is near our sun. Pluto is chilling with the sun. And that's fun, right? And then we have Mercury, not too far off from Pluto right now. They're within about 3 degrees from each other. So you definitely feel that aggressive and that fired up energy going towards that Pluto energy, right? You definitely felt that yesterday with that fired up energy of Leo that Pluto is sitting in, because Pluto is sitting in. I keep saying fired up. I'm pretty sure y'all like, what do you mean fired? Yeah, the fifth house energy that Pluto is sitting in is Leo energy. So you see that Mercury energy and the Pluto energy sitting near each other with the energy of the sun. And while Mercury is all about the sixth house, which is that Virgo house of daily routines and things like that. Pluto and Capricorn, they're focused on that Leo energy of going through this situation with confidence. We're manifesting with confidence. My phone fell off. I was going this no. We're manifesting with confidence. We're manifesting like we're the center of the universe. And that's what we seen yesterday, right? That white privilege was popping. That's how you tap into the God in you. You hear me? That's how you do it. That's how you tap into the God in you. and say, fuck what y'all talking about. The God in y'all ain't bigger than us. 2,000 people. 2,000 people. That's how you do it. And everybody else on the outskirts, if you ain't tapped into the God in you, what did you say? Oh, that's white privilege. Oh, how they get away with that? Oh, if we did that, we'd be dead. Oh, da da da. Why did you spend so much time doing that? Because you're not in alignment. Because you're not tapped into the God in you. Because you don't believe in your place. You were looking at how other people were behaving in their place, and that made you mad. Why? Because you're not in alignment with your place. I can't get mad at white privilege. Why? Because I'm black. I'm a black woman. I got my own fucking privilege. It's a lot of shit that you can do and say to a white woman you can't do and say to me. And I know that. And I walked into God and me with that shit. Feel me? So if you was jealous and you was worried about white privilege and white supremacy and nobody got shot, and da, 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 you need to check yourself because that was nothing but alignment that happened. You hear me? That Pluto and that sun was working and that Capricorn energy. You hear me? And if you was upset or mad, you need to check with the stars and know your place. Know which star is lying upon you, which star you fall under. Okay? I'm feeling the Capricorn energy. I'm very good at communication. I just got a lot of planets in Virgo energy. Nature is reacting, and there is nothing that human beings can do. Nature is reacting, and there is nothing that human beings can do. Yes, nature is reacting. I had to read that sentence a couple times so I could read it in calls at the right times and shit. But yes, nature is reacting, and there is nothing we can do. Because, I use this analogy with my oldest son all the time. When you get a cold, what happens? When you get a cold or you're sick, what happens? Your body heats up, right? That's your body's defense mechanism. Your body ain't trying to destroy itself, is it? Is your body trying to destroy itself when it gets hot? Do you think your body's going to get so hot that it's going to try to kill itself? No. And I'll get into that part later for those of you that are quick and just listening to respond so you can argue with me. Anyway, your body heats up to get rid of whatever bacteria or virus that's in it that's making it ill. I'm going to get hot just enough to make your ass uncomfortable. Ashe? And that's what happens. Now, who's the virus out here on this earth as the body of the earth heats up? Us. Us. We still ain't aligned. We're still over consuming. We're still being destructive. We're still taking more than we can give. A year ago, the Amazon in Africa, all those forests around the equator area was on fire beyond what's normally done. We have seasons of fires because it does get that hot around certain areas. But it was being intentionally done by greedy ass humans. You think the earth not gonna respond to you putting his lungs on fire? What happens when you smoke cigarettes? What happens the moment you stop? Your body immediately starts to try to heal itself. Your body wants to heal. The earth wants to heal. So if you are not in alignment with the earth healing, trust and believe you're going to get plucked the fuck off of this earth. Align yourself. Align yourself. Give when you take. If you out here cutting trees and shit, you need to start planting trees. All these trees out here. If you benefit from trees being cut, and everybody in this thread, every last one of y'all in this thread, if you are inside of a house right now, you have benefited from a tree being cut. You need to go outside and plant a motherfucking tree. Go outside and plant a tree. Trees at Home Depot are $11. Why are trees being made by the millions to be distributed all over the earth to sit inside buildings with a price tag for $12 while we're out here burning trees? Make it make sense. Align yourself. You see how the people was rushing through DC? Yeah, get inspired. That's what they did in DC. Imagine what you can do at Walmart. They don't have that kind of security there. They don't got that kind of security at Home Depot. They don't got that kind of security in the banks. Not if you all do it. And that's my TED Talk for today. Because I like to watch things burn. Mama. But yeah, that's what that energy is calling us to do. Pluto is out there and is giving us confidence to create that transformation and see through that transformation. And if you are not comfortable in what's transpiring right now, if you're scared, if you're being jealous, if you're being hateful, if you is just like comparing, trust me, you are not in alignment. And baby, it is time. And you can go onto my YouTube page and check out all of my planetary forecasts to get you aligned, boo. The true node The true note is our overdeveloped and our underdeveloped characteristics that we need to find balance within to reach our best selves. Ashe. So we started off the day at 19 degrees, 39 altitude in Gemini in the 10th house, and we'll be ending the day at 19 degrees, 40 altitude in Gemini in the 10th house. So still we have that energy of Gemini, which is calling us because we know what Gemini energy does, do we not? Gemini energy is like I have to be doing a million and one things at one time. I'll tell you from personal experience, my Mars is in Gemini. I love projects. I love being flexible. I love being versatile. I love doing multiple things. As you guys can see, when y'all follow me on my pages, I do many, many, many things. I do not sit down. Well, let's talk about unbalanced Gemini energy because my Gemini energy definitely does get unbalanced. I can be unfocused because I have so many things to do, I don't know where to start. It creates anxiety, nervousness, feeling overwhelmed, start to get a little crabby because as you're trying to get done these things, life is still going over there. So things are slowly starting to come onto your plate along with those things, right? Ashe. And so with that being said, you may find yourself getting irritated and upset when more things come on your plate. Sometimes your body will just shut the fuck down when you like, listen, you don't want to take no rest. You want to keep taking on multiple streams of income. You want to keep turning every little thing into a business venture. I got something for that ass. Now you can't think. You can't concentrate. You can't get yourself organized. You can't focus. You don't know which business to go on first. You don't know what thing to market first. You don't know what to do first. That's what happens when that Gemini energy is in balance. You don't want to get there. Everything does not need to be a stream of income. If you're on a business venture, I know a lot of us got excited and a lot of us felt like we were racing the government and racing white people and racing our rights being taken away to escape the country and escape our state or whatever, what have you. A lot of us felt like we were in a race. And that's what that Gemini energy was bringing to us too, that pressure to be versatile and flexible. Yeah. So, but with that, you need to have a balance. You need to remind yourself that you are not in a race. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. You don't just go pew and stay like that for 10, 20 years. How tiring is that? You've only been doing it for a few months now, and aren't you tired? Aren't you tired of those 6, 7 businesses you've been trying to balance since March when quarantine started? Because you have taken a little bit of peace. Oh, hey, love, because you've only taken a little bit of piece of one thing from a business venture and you ran off with it and now you're trying to hurry up and get this and this and this. Like first you started off, oh, I want to do hair. You learn how to do a couple of different styles, and before you master doing hair, oh no, now I gotta do makeup. Before you even mastered the hair or mastered the makeup, oh now I gotta do nails. Now you want to do clothes. Now you're doing all these things and you're not at 100 with any of them. And then you're wondering why none of them are giving you 100 back because you are in the balance with that true note energy that's causing you to seek balance in that Gemini energy. Another way to seek balance in that true note energy is okay, so Gemini energy is a Mercurian energy, right? All about Mercury. What is Mercury? Logic and communication, right? So let's get into the communication things about things. We like to communicate about multiple things, right? Be mindful of that. Be mindful of the absorption of the communication of that. All right. We're going to go back to that Pisces and Neptune energy when we talked about people feeding off of indigenous individuals walking into their spiritual walk. There's companies and corporations feeding off of that so they can market things to us. And don't be gullible in that walk because not only are there corporations, there are governments that want our vote, there's just individuals that want our money and our energy. So they're going to use the guise of spirituality and ancestry and culturalism and all those things that indigenous people are in love with right now. They're going to try to use those things to take something from us. So be mindful of that. You want my keys?
No, no,
So
no, no.
be mindful of that. And with that, coming back to Gemini energy, with Gemini energy, we have a tendency to listen to one little bit of information, same way with the businesses, and now we can write a whole blog and vlog and one thing happened yesterday. We only seen what the media wanted us to see. We only heard the emotional invocations that the people on TV wanted us to hear. And what did we do? We went on our platforms immediately and started making videos and writing posts and making memes. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know who did what. We don't know if the media is lying about who did it or why they did it. We don't know if this was a ploy to get people on board with Biden. And we don't know if this was a ploy for them to switch up the votes, make the vote count different or not. We don't know nothing. But y'all just ran to y'all platforms with the little baby information y'all had and ran with y'all opinions. True Note says stop doing that. Stop doing it. You don't know what you're talking about. You seen one little thing, you had one little piece of information, and what's going to happen 5 to 10 years from now? Somebody's going to finally take the initiative to read that FBI report and really find out what happened. Don't do that no more. Stop doing that. Actually, take the time to research the things, put effort into the things. If this is a business venture and something that you're interested in, learn about it and master it before you move on to the next thing. If this is a conversation that you want to indulge in, that you want to teach other people about and stuff like that, master that conversation, master that knowledge, and then move on to the next thing. Don't keep comparing yourself to people that have been doing that one thing for 5, 10 years and they're finally getting recognition for that one thing while they've already moved on to 2 or 3 things. Like, be mindful, I've been doing this for about 10 years. Yeah, about 10 years now. So that's why I have multiple things out because this is 10 years old. This was something I've already mastered. Now I'm expanding. Don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare. And I still get over imbalanced with my Gemini energy because, like I said, my Gemini sit in my Mars energy. That's what gets me going. Doing multiple things. I love it and I hate it at the same time because I be restless. But if I sit still, like, okay, fun fact about me, I smoke weed. I don't like downer weed because it gives me anxiety. Those people that say, "Oh, when I smoke weed, it makes me nervous." Blah, blah. Yeah, it makes me nervous. I don't like it. Why? Because it's trying to slow me down too much to the point where my heart is like, "Nah, you're supposed to be doing shit. You're supposed to be doing multiple shit. This is not what your Mars causes you to do. You are not supposed to be this calm. You are not supposed to be this chill. You better get the fuck up." So then I'm sitting there with anxiety because I'm high as hell and I'm not being to my productive self that my Mars causes me to be. You know what I'm saying? So like, just yeah, be mindful of that true node and that Gemini energy causing you to, dial it back and humble yourself and master your craft before you move on to the next one. So moving into the ascendant energy. The ascendant energy, we started off at 1 degree, 44 altitude in Libra in the second house, and we'll be ending it at 2 degrees, 8 altitude in Libra in the second house. So the ascendant energy is about your expectations of society, your expectations of yourself that you feel like society expects of you. Like, this is what I think society wants of me, and as a result, this is what I expect from society. And that's what the ascending is. It's also your mask that you wear because that's what you think society wants you to wear. Whereas the sun is your ego, and it's really like, nah, this is what the fuck I feel, but this is where I'm at with myself. And the world can see that's where you at for yourself. Now this is just what you think the world wants you to have for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's in Libra energy. So we're definitely dealing with that people pleasing energy, that overly people pleasing energy a little bit if there's an imbalance. But definitely coming into that balance and fairness energy of Libra energy as well. Definitely. That second house energy is about your home and family. Excuse me. That yeah, second house energy is your home and family energy. So definitely coming back into your home and family, creating safe spaces and safe places, creating a balance and fairness in your personal. Oh no, I lied. The second house is not home and family. The second house is Taurus energy. I skipped a whole sign. My bad, y'all. The second house is personal finances and material possessions and your pleasure and the things you see your self esteem coming from. That's all that Taurus energy, right? So again, causing us to, seeking transformation in that Taurus energy because now we need a better balance in how we're maintaining and obtaining those things, right? We just got done talking about that, the overconsumption thing, right? We just got done talking about like the things that we saw pleasure in and the things that, our self-esteem was rooted in. We're experiencing transformation in that, right? Definitely with the moon in Libra, when we started off the day, the moon in Libra was pretty close to the ascending in Libra. Yesterday, the moon and ascendant was actually pretty close to each other, so you felt that mask wearing heavy on your intuitive side probably yesterday, right? Because the moon and the ascending was so close. Maybe you guys have been like, reflecting, is that the word I want to use? I don't know. Maybe you guys felt yourself reflecting on how you have been wearing that mask in society, how heavy that mask has been getting, and how you've been giving to more than you've been receiving. And that's what that Libra energy causes us to do. And yesterday was probably more emotional felt. You probably may have lashed off with some people when you felt an imbalance. It may have been some like a short ass conversation. It might have been a short like quit like nah. Next time you going to and you might have walked away and didn't think of nothing of it. Or you probably opened the door for somebody and they say thank you. You'd have been like thank you, and you felt that this time. Any other time you would have nonchalantly been sarcastic and walked away, but you felt it that time. Yeah, that was that Mars and Ascendant energy pretty close to each other yesterday in Libra. And they actually started the day off this morning pretty close, so you probably still felt that today and to the mid afternoon. But now we're dealing with the moon is in Scorpio now, so now you all horny and stuff. I know I am, and that's what's happening. So the ascendant in Libra definitely causes you to seek fairness, to seek balance in your expectations of the world versus what you've been giving to the world. And a lot of you guys are doing that. A lot of you guys are like, fuck the IRS, I've been giving. Fuck the government, I've been giving. Fuck this relationship, I've been giving. Fuck this job, I've been giving. And it's to the point where you guys can't keep holding it in no more. You can't keep making excuses. And that's what's up. It's all about growth. Midheaven. Midheaven, we started off at 1 degree 58 altitude in Cancer in 11th house, and we'll be ending the day off at 2 degrees 25 altitude in Cancer in 11th house. So we are still in Cancer. We are in early Cancer, and we were coming from that Gemini energy. Midheaven is like how you reach your point of success, um, your accomplishments, and your responsibilities. And right now, with it in Cancer, you're being called to create more nurturing spaces, right? This is definitely a nurturing space that I feel like I've been called to create with you guys. I've been getting such great feedback about you guys being more in tune with your own natal charts from listening how I break down the houses and the zodiacs for y'all. And I'm grateful that that's happening for y'all. That's what's up. I see a lot of people opening up venues and creating safe spaces and healing spaces and their venues for people. But I see I've been working in communication with people about buying land for different things and trying to pull my kids all the way out of school because they're both not doing well at all, and neither am I. It's really just like not doing well for none of us or their dad. All four of us, no four of us are doing well with the homeschooling, and this is that's we're a squad. So we have to do what's good for us. But yeah, so we have to create a nurturing space for them so that we can educate them and feel like they're being educated and remove that indoctrination that they have to be in school for X amount of hours and to be educated because my kids are very smart. Um, they're very smart. They're not doing well with the way this has been going, and they really weren't doing well in school before all this COVID stuff was going. They really just go through the motions. They're very intelligent. They can do things. When I teach them on my own, because I am a teacher, when I teach them on my own, they but that whole process of sitting in school for hours at a time and you want my attention for hours at a time on this thing that I know that I already know because my mom gives me extra homework and gives me homework all summer because she's crazy. I don't want to do it. So like, yeah. What was I going with it? Oh yeah, creating nurturing spaces from that Cancer energy. But yeah, and then the 11th house is about humanitarian work and our soul purpose and purpose and things like that. So we're definitely being called to be responsible for our nurturing spaces and creating more nurturing spaces for ourselves and each other. Lilith. Lilith, we start off the day at 4 degrees, 0 altitude in Gemini in the 10th house, and we'll be ending the day at 3 degrees, 44 altitude in retrograde in Gemini in the 10th house. So we have our true node and Lilith chilling. So true node was all about the overdeveloped and the underdeveloped traits. And then Lilith is all about the things that trigger you that you repress because you think society is gonna be like, don't do that, or ill, or like I always think of like dominatrix. When I think of Lilith, I think of a dominatrix because that is so taboo, especially in the African. I don't like to use the word African American, especially in the indigenous community. Like, yeah, being a dom or being a sub is kind of like, right? That's kind of like that's something that you really keep to yourself. They like the weird, sexy fetishes Also, like certain things about you, like when if you guys did your shadow work, I did my shadow work about a year or so ago, and one thing that I had noticed to myself is I care a lot about what people think. And that was something that I would always say when I don't care what niggas think. I don't care what niggas think about me. I don't care what niggas think. I don't care what people think. I don't care what they think. I don't care. I don't care what you think. But no, I really give a fuck what people think about me. And I will go above and beyond to make sure your thought is in my favor. And that puts me in people pleasing positions. I have been taken advantage of. I do lack boundaries. I'm coming out of that. I'm healing and I'm learning how to create healthy boundaries and stuff like that. But like, I care about what people think about me. I want you to think I'm a nice person. I want you to think I'm giving. I want you to say nice things at my funeral. I want you to fight for me. I want you to know that I will fight for you, and I really feel that way. So I feel pure in me caring about how other people think of me, because my intentions are good. It's nothing crazy. I don't feel like what I think and what my intentions are when I try to manipulate people's thoughts of me. I don't feel like I'm doing anything, crazy. But I do drive myself crazy. That has been toxic on me. I'm comparing myself to other people. When other people don't like my stuff, I'm racking my brain. When things will go wrong in my business, like recently I had a postage issue with the post office. If you would have checked me about a year or so ago with that issue, bro, I would be in tears every day until it was situated with. Because I care. I don't like having angry customers. I don't like people leaving nasty taste in their mouth. I don't like people thinking that I don't be on my shit or on my square. Like, I don't like that. I'm a Virgo. Keeping it on. My sun, moon, Mercury, and Venus are all in Virgo, and just about everything else is in Capricorn, and with that Jupiter in Leo and the Mars in Gemini. And so like with that, like I got perfectionist issues. She needs to be perfect. You need to think I'm perfect. You need to look at me and be like, I don't know how the fuck she do that shit, bro. She's a robot. She's a god for real. That's what I want people to think of me. So like I do put myself in toxic situations to keep that thought afloat. And so that's something I'm working on me when I do my shadow work. And then once upon a time, I don't get jealous of people anymore. That's something that I can like. I'm so grateful to say I don't feel that no more. But I would get jealous of people like, yo, like I rap and I would hear somebody that I felt was whacker than me, but they was getting all this praise, like, bro, your lyrics is whack. Especially when I would hear other female rappers, I would get mad because I make positive affirmation music, and then I would hear like these half-ass positive songs, like, all right, you making a positive song, but you still calling niggas niggas and bitches bitches. You just saying that you getting your money in your bag, like when you say it, so that makes it positive, or just because you rapping like about your trials and triumphs growing up in the hood, that makes this song positive and empowering. That shit trash. And I would get legit mad. Like I'm jealous because here I am over here literally making manifestation music. My music is spells. If you read the lyrics, you're reading a spell. You're reading affirmations. You're telling yourself repeatedly, you the shit. And so I felt like my songs need to be on the pedestal that of these black ass niggas. Like I'm better than y'all, and I'm smarter than y'all. I used to get mad. I went to college. I didn't finish college because I had money issues. I got kid issues, and I got time issues. So, but I would see these dumbasses graduate and go on and get their master. And these were people. I did your homework. I was doing your homework and writing your papers and stuff like that. And I would get jealous. But how can I get jealous of that? Like I made my choices. I was in control of the God of me, and I did what I did. You know what I mean? And they did what they did. They paid me to do their papers when I could have been paying somebody to do my papers. But you know what I mean? Like I just legit get jealous of people. So I'm not jealous no more. That was something I was repressing in me because I would never let it be known on the outside that I was jealous. I would always feel it on the inside and just be have that fake ass smile. Especially like the man that I was with, a year or so ago, like he had a lot of female friends and he was very well into like the arts and stuff like that. And I was very jealous of him. I was jealous of him because he had a social life. He would go out and this, that, and the third, and I would be in the house. Why are you all the time? And I'm in the house with the kids. Like, why you can't be in the house with the kids? Because that's what he chose to do. He chose to pick somebody who liked boundaries so that they could be home with all his kids, even the one that didn't belong to her, while he went out and lived his best life. Like that's how he tapped into the God in him. He created an environment of enabling ass women around him so that he could live the life he wanted to live. And he still does that. And I share. And now I'm in a space and place in myself where it's like it's time for me to tap into the God in me because I want to go out. I want to be around artsy people. I want to meet people. I want artsy people to flirt with me and think I shit gold rocks. Like I used to get so upset because I felt like I, you know, I just used to get jealous. I was very jealous of my partner. and we weren't, and I didn't move like we were in competition. I didn't feel like we were in competition, but I was just very jealous of him. It felt like everything he did didn't include me, unless, and then the stuff that I did had to include him, and it always had to, and including him always included watering me down so that he could be included in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was weird. But that was my Lilith energy, and then you heal from it, and then you build from it, and you learn what to do coming out of it. So with both of these energies, the True Node and the Lilith energy, both sitting in Gemini, you may have been repressing yourself on your flexibility, or you have been repressing your lack of flexibility. Maybe you are not as flexible as you keep trying to give yourself credit to be. Like, to this morning, I had a talk with my partner now, and I was irritated because I'm sexually frustrated and I'm hungry because I'm trying this veganism shit out. But I was irritated because I've been trying to like edit the song for the longest, and he was trying to give me advice like, you can't do everything. I can help you do this. This person can help you do that. You got to pay people to do this, do that, do that. And that was just making me mad because it was like, why I can't fucking do it myself? I just want to be perfect. I just want to have all the shit done and say I did it. Like, I want people to say, I want like the credits to have my name just constantly. I'm trying to be like Dylon in this hoe. Like, like that's what I want. Like, I don't understand why this is so hard for me. But like, the lowest is causing me to realize that I'm not as flexible as I want to be. I'm not as versatile as I want to be. Maybe I won't be able to engineer music. Maybe 10 years from now I will be, but right now I don't have the time. Right now it has to be delegated, and it's not something for me to take on. And that's me tuning into my Lilith and Gemini, realizing that there's an imbalance. And I'm dropping shit because I'm trying to do too much. Can you close the door all the way? And then it's also maybe you're not being versatile or flexible enough. You're vegan. I was vegan for about 4 years, and that was the beginning of my son's life. He's about to be 7 now, so that was about 3 years ago. The last time I was vegan was 3 hours ago, 3 years ago, and it was easier then because I was in the city, so I was able to obtain food easier. But right now I'm in a different kind of area. The one grocery store we had, they closed. I gotta drive to like shop for it, and in the morning time I don't like leaving my house. I don't like going outside. I don't like driving. I don't like doing nothing. So I just sit in the house and be sad and hungry because everybody in my house, except for me and my kids, eat a bunch of meat and cheese and dairy and everything like that. So like, I'm just surrounded about, and I share a house with other people, and I'm in a space and place where I don't really feel like the kitchen is mine, or it doesn't have to be mine, but it just like doesn't feel like a safe shared space. Like, I can't put my produce in the refrigerator because it freezes it. Like, it doesn't store the food right. Like, it's just a lot. I feel like a lot of roadblocks in the way of me being vegan. And I'm just always hungry and angry, and I don't want to be angry anymore. But yeah, maybe I'm not as flexible in my diet as I thought I was. No, no, I'm not going to go back to it. Like, I would just like to eat fish every now and then. I miss fish. Like, I was at the grocery store and I had picked up a thing of sushi, and then I realized on my way to the counter that I wasn't doing fish anymore, and I was crying. I wasn't crying yet. My eyes were welling up, and it was like, okay, so it's different kind of tears you get, right? You got those tears that feel good when they come out, and then you got those tears that hurt. Like, it feel like shards of glass is coming through your eyes, and then you start feeling that lump, that rock in your throat. Yeah, that's the tear I cried when I had to put my sushi back once I realized I wasn't eating fish. It was the tear that hurt it. So, yeah. But moving on to Chiron. Chiron, we start off today at 5 degrees, 10 altitude in Aries in the 8th house. It will be ending at 5 degrees, 11 altitude in Aries in the 8th house. So for a minute, Chiron was linked up with that Mars energy that was in Aries. But getting into Chiron, Chiron is all about your overall wellness. So physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, economical, all those levels of wellness is what Chiron taps into. And finding your strengths and your weaknesses in each of those. They burn your eyes. Yeah, they burn your eyes, and they leave a salt stain on your cheek. Those bad kid tears. That's how you know. That's how you know you was crying because you did some bullshit. Because if you salt just stuck on your face. It's funny how you could differentiate tears. But yeah, so Chiron is all about strengths and weaknesses in those different elements of wellness. Like, what are you strong in that area? What are you weak in that area? And how's it helping you, benefiting you? So with that energy sitting up in Aries, it's causing us to tap into it and be aggressive about this, right? It's time to be aggressive about our holistic health, how healthy we are. It's all about, I always think about life as like a rush those Russian dolls go into one another. So if you go inward on yourself and you learn about different levels of wellness in yourself and how to balance them and find your strengths and weaknesses in them, you can go out into the world and see that in your interactions with other people and you help guide them. Then you can go even further out of the human kingdom and go into the animal kingdom and you can see that in them, like, oh, wellness is needed here. And I realized because I consume this and we all consume that, that your wellness is at jeopardy. So let's put your wellness back in safe hands and let's realign. And then you can go even further than that and go into the plant kingdom and be like, oh, the wellness of these plants is in jeopardy. Now we need to tap into our wellness on this level because we can empathize with that level, on all different kingdoms. We can empathize with the jeopardy in that wellness area because we experienced that on our own. So now that we've aligned ourselves, we can now align with this plant kingdom and get that to the level of wellness at whatever. Because now we're eating plants more, we're planting trees more and stuff as we become one with ourselves. It just automatically just ripples out and pours out into those things. You know what I'm saying? And then it goes out even further into the earth, into the dirt, into the ocean, into the aquatic animals, all those things. Once you tune into the wellness and the holistic wellness in yourself, it easily pours out into all the other kingdoms. It just easily automatically happens when you align yourself. Like, you just can't deny it. If you align yourself in a nutrition sense, aren't you eating less meat and stuff like that? And that helps with the animal farming, and that helps with the agriculture, and that helps with the water shortage, and that helps with the earth, and that helps with all the carbon emissions from the animal farming because now it's being reduced. And that all came from you saying, hey, I want to eat less harmful things. That's how that started because you aligned yourself. And that's how it goes. Isn't that cool? Moving on to Ceres. Ceres, we start off at 13 degrees, 55 altitude in Pisces in the seventh house, and we'll be ending the day off at 14 degrees, 15 altitude in Pisces in the seventh house. So, Ceres deals with our health and our nutrition and agriculture and fertility and how we deal with loss and grief and how we interact with our parents or our kids and vice versa. So Ceres is like the feminine energy to Jupiter, okay? So like we said, Jupiter is like the nice cop, right? That's like that masculine energy, that outward energy. Like this is what's going on in the outside world with Jupiter being in law and then Aquarius energy and rebellion, da da da. Now Ceres is like go inward. We are going inward with that rebellion and the law and all that stuff like that, right? Well, not rebellion. That's Jupiter and Aquarius. We're going inward with that nurturing energy and that law and tolerance and energy. Like, what are you doing inside? Jupiter is what you're doing on outside with the law and tolerance. Now, what are you doing on the inside with law and tolerance and Ceres? And right now it's in Pisces in seventh house. And what else is in Pisces in seventh house? Neptune. And what did I tell y'all about Neptune? Be careful with Neptune. It's people trying to prey on your spirituality and your mysticism to sell you, to get your energy. It's going to be businesses and corporations that come out with the most harmful of shit. With the most what happened when indigenous people was like, oh, we about to start using coconut oil? That shit was in everything. They was chomping down coconuts by the tons. Coconut oil, coconut water, coconut pieces, coconut guts. Coconut was in everything. Why? Because they were watching us and they were feeding on our spiritualism and our recognition of what coconut oil does to sell to us and to be destructive. And what did they do? They further created a toxic government from that over farming of coconuts. The same thing with like a lot of things. Y'all know what I'm talking about? A lot of things. Avocados. I'm tired of seeing them shits. Every season, pumpkins. I know for a fact we don't actually grow that many pumpkins. For y'all to be having pumpkin spice flavor and so many things every October, this is ridiculous. Cut it out. Stop the overconsumption. We don't need a Dunkin' Donuts every 2 minutes. That's ridiculous. But yeah, and Neptune and Pisces is telling us to be careful because these corporations are going to feed on your shit. Oh, y'all don't want to drink milk no more? All right, we done took the cows because we still want to keep cow farming, but we took all the elements out, and here you go. What the fuck are you going to do with that? You're going to convince yourself to drink it because it says it's dairy free and lactate free? You're not even going to ask a question about how they obtain that. That's that Gemini energy. You need to tap in and start reading further and stop saying, "Oh, it don't got no lactate in it. Oh, it don't got no meat in it. It's good. It's not good." So, series is causing us to walk in our spirituality. And as we walk in our spirituality, like I told y'all with the Chiron and with the Chiron and Aries, as you walk into your spirituality, you're going to find balance in agriculture. You're going to find balance in nutrition. You're going to find balance in all of these things, but you have to tap into the God in you and you got to walk in that spirit. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Or it's not going to happen to your liking. It's going to happen to the liking of another God. Pallas. Pallas, we start off at 9 degrees 53 altitude in Aquarius in the sixth house, and we end off at 10 degrees 14 altitude in Aquarius in the sixth house. Now, Pallas is all about your logic and reasoning as well as your intellect. What is sitting in Aquarius? What else do we have sitting in Aquarius in the sixth house? Saturn and Jupiter, y'all. So Saturn and Jupiter, we already talked about, was about law and tradition and tolerance and boundaries and restrictions and authority and all those things, right? And then we have the Pallas energy of logic and intellect, right? Sitting around that law and order energy. So we're being intellectual. Um we're being intellectual. We're tapping into that energy of law and order, and we're talking about it. We're having conversations about it. We're changing our logic on it. We're changing what we consider intelligence in this realm, right? Ashe. And so that's what Palace is causing us to do, and we're applying it to that Virgo house of health and wellness and daily routines, and that's exciting. Um, Palace is also considered as the feminine energy to Uranus, which brings a conscious rise. So a rise is happening into intellect, and it's beautiful that that conscious rise energy is sitting right next to Jupiter and Saturn. So we're definitely going to have a very, very big logic and daily routine shift in that law and order. Juno, we started off at 6 degrees 9 altitude in Sagittarius in the fourth house, and we'll be ending it off at 6 degrees 27 altitude in Sagittarius in the fourth house. So Juno is the energy of. I'm still getting in tune with the outer limits. The talents and the arts, wisdom, and defense. So, what is sitting in that Sagittarius energy, which we know is that fired up energy, is the energy of optimism and philosophy and expanding your perspectives. So, you have yourself just expanding your perspectives on wisdom, expanding your perspectives in the arts. A lot of us have been living with that notion of starving artists and artists don't make money and da da da. But haven't the artists really like taken the forefront in this new world order? Ashe, like I don't know what everyone else's reality looks like, but in mine, the artists have definitely like took like a major step forward in this walk, and maintaining a balance and letting the world know what's going on. Our artists have been our historians lately to an extent. And the fourth house causes us to apply this artistic, optimistic, philosophical, expanded knowledge and tendency to travel and things to our home and family. So, we're definitely changing how we defend our family, how we defend our home, how we defend ourselves, which we also consider as a home. And yeah, Juno is definitely calling for that transformation too, because Juno is the feminine energy to Pluto. Pluto is that planet transformation and death and rebirth and so on and so forth. So we have that rebirth energy sitting in that fired up Sagittarius energy. For home and family, going to Vesta. Vesta, we started off at 20 degrees 49 altitude in Virgo in the second house, and we'll be ending it off at 20 degrees 54 altitude in Virgo in the second house. So Vesta is dealing with your passion and where your fire is, where you are motivated. And Vesta is also the feminine energy to Saturn, which is all about structure. That RoboCop energy. This is the lady RoboCop to the Saturn male RoboCop energy, right? So right now it's sitting in that Virgo energy. So you feel yourself creating like analytical structure, logic. Virgo's all about practicality and servitude and logic and communication and that Mercurian energy of teaching and learning, right? So you feel yourself getting fired up about teaching. You want to teach people. You want to use your platform to teach people. Let that true note remind you to not just take a piece of information and go rush off to your platform to teach people, though. And then you also feel fired up about communicating. A lot of us use our platforms to communicate. I be seeing like 30, 40 lives a day. I'm sorry I can't make them to all of them. Like, I have a business too. I have children. I have things. But like, yeah, like everybody's using their platform to communicate. The communication is transforming and it's being way more abundant, Mom? And way more organized. Yeah. I'm hungry. All right, we about to leave. I only got one more planet left, and then we out. We about to go eat. And then No. Yeah, and then it's sitting in that second house of possession and materials, and how we seek our pleasures and our self esteem and things like that, right? So yeah, it's definitely causing for a change in that space and place in your life. Like, you find yourself organizing and being more analytical about what gets you going and what gets you fired up and where your passion lies. And we're gonna apply it to how you obtain your materials and your self esteem and that love. So Iris is like water justice. So I really like the story that I read on Iris. So it's like Iris was the water carrier. She would go to Styx River and grab the water from the river and walk into the courthouse. And if you drink, and like how we put our hand on the Bible, they would drink the water. And if you died while you were drinking the water, it's because you were lying on the stand. So what Iris causes us to do, Iris is that energy of justice. Is actually the feminine energy to Mercury about intelligence and communication and things of that nature as well. But it's justice. So right now, Iris is in Aquarius energy. So Aquarius energy is that energy of rebellious, social rebellion, being optimistic and expanding and things of that nature. So the justice is definitely expanding. It's definitely coming out. Truth is coming out, and it's gonna come out through the water. Definitely gonna come out through the water. And I've noticed during this conversation now, like ending our talk with Iris, I've noticed that like I've spoken on water a lot. I've spoken on Flint, Michigan, and us finding out what happened in water. I spoke on the farming in with water. I spoke on the water shortage. I spoke on water many times during this conversation. It was not intentional. I'm just coming to realization at the end. But the truth is going to come out through the water, whether it be somebody coming to you in tears and the truth comes out in between the tears. Somebody lying between their teeth and the slobber all in their mouth when they don't. Or it's just like, certain traces of things in the water. The water is going to tell. Um, and that's what's happening. And that's my planetary forecast for today. This was great. Thank you guys for tuning in, especially you guys on the Melanated People app. Thank you guys. I'm going to start doing my lives on Black Center platforms and just being aware of, where my energy is being put at. I've noticed that, I usually post on mainstream platforms because that's where the numbers are, but it's time to be a little bit more intentional. We do have these spaces and places of just straight Black social media platforms, so it's time to invest our time and energy into them and let other people know they exist and so on and so forth. So I love you guys. Make sure y'all tune in on YouTube. Go on to Let's Know Bodies. You guys can also go on to Let's Know Bodies Collection.com and just check out my website and see all the stuff that I'm doing and you can tap into. All right, let me go because I have more things to do.